together. We're gonna have some lunch. You're very fine.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rita Davis, and I am the Vice President of Voter Services for the League of Women Voters of Plainfield. On behalf of the League, I'm pleased to welcome you to our 2024 Plainfield Voter Education Candidates Forum. The League's partner in presenting this forum is Tap Into Plainfield, represented by David Rutherford. David, we value your nonpartisan participation and support. The League of Women Voters is a trusted membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. The League never supports or opposes candidates for office or political parties. Any use of the League name or footage from this forum in campaign materials, literature, or advertising of any kind, including internet, cable, or television, has not been authorized by the League of Women Voters and is not permitted. The moderator for our forum tonight is Tony Zimmer. Tony is currently a member of the League of Women Voters of the United States Nominating Committee, responsible for proposing the slate of officers and directors for the LWV-US. She was an executive committee member of the LWV-US Board of Directors and Education Fund Board of Trustees from 2016 to 2022. She served as president of the League of Women Voters of New Jersey from 2011 to 2015 and has been a member of the League of Women Voters of Sussex Highlands in northern New Jersey since 2007. Tony is a member of the LWV of New Jersey Moderators Group, training members to become certified moderators in New Jersey. She travels throughout the state to support local leagues and other organizations by moderating candidate forums. She resides in Sparta, New Jersey with her husband, Max. Tony, thank you for moderating our forum.
Thank you, Rita. It's a pleasure to be here. So nice to see so many people here tonight. That's wonderful. And the candidates, you all look good. You look ready to go here. So just to let you know, before we got started, the candidates each chose a spot to present their opening statements, and the opening statements will be for 1 minute each. And following that, we have questions for them, and then I will. Okay. Rita just said, please silence your cell phones. So let's do that right away. Okay, the questions will be asked, and the candidates will have 1 minute to answer the questions. Now, Emily is our timekeeper. Could you raise your hand, Emily, so they can see you? Okay, so once I present the question, Emily will hold up the green card. The candidates can decide to answer. And then, when there are 15 seconds remaining, they will see the yellow card. No, time's running out. And then finally, when there's no time left, if that happens, Emily will hold up the red stop card. That's what we call it. And then if they still go on for some chance, they just can't help it, I'm the stop card. I'm the next one. So that's the way that works. And at the end of the questions, they will each be given the chance to make a closing statement. And that also has been done in advance. We picked numbers, they each did it randomly, so, the order has already been taken. Now, what I want to just explain how important it is, I know you may hear something that you love or that you don't love, but if you could just refrain from reacting verbally to that or making noise or clapping or anything like that would really be appreciated, because we have an hour designated for this event, and that's not really a long time. So if we could do that, that would be great. And then at the end of the closing statements, after each person has finished, then you can give them all a round of applause, and that would be wonderful. So All right, with that being said, we can begin. And we're going to start the opening statements with Robbie.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the League of Women Voters in Tappan 2. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters in Tappan 2, Plainfield, and David for providing this platform for us to discuss the future of our school district. And most importantly, thank you to the voters who are here today to make informed decisions about who will best serve our community as your next school board commissioner. I'm Robbie Campbell-Lissade, and I've been a resident of Plainfield for about 15 years. As the Vice Dean of Finance at Temple University, I'm responsible for a budget of $150 million. I've ensured that budgets align with our students' needs and priorities, and I hope to bring this expertise to our local board. I'm running because I believe that every student deserves high-quality education that prepares them for success. I strongly believe we need to align our budget with our students' success, prioritize special education, and hold ourselves accountable to the families and children we serve.
Thank you, Robbie. Dr. Harris?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. I am Dr. Lamont Harris. I'm a lifelong Plainfield resident, former Plainfield teacher. I've spent over 20 years in educational service, 15 of which in special needs populations. I'm also host of a master's degree in special education and a doctorate in education. I'm running for candidacy to use my experience and my knowledge to help improve on the things the board is doing. Particularly, I am looking to help with vetting curriculum, programs and policies that are equitable and inclusive and expansive, collaborating with the community and partnering to know their needs, and engaging in practices to address staff shortages, staff retention, and staff development. Thank you.
Thank you. Victor?
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. I was fortunate to have a historic organization such as this supporting civics and voter education in our community and all across the country. I'm even more proud to have them specifically representing Plainfield. Thank you to the Plainfield Public Library for partnering with the League and lending this historic space for us to share our views on topics concerning the board. I'm Victor Webb. I'm a home resident, committed to service. Served the community in so many different ways, from working with the city of Plainfield in our recreation department, from working with the school board as a coordinator for an after-school program many years ago. I look to bring my balanced experience to the board and continue to advocate for balanced education and just holistic leadership in the community. I think there are many different ways that we can connect with city government and make sure that the school board works collaboratively to fulfill the needs of future generations and continue to move Plainfield Public Schools forward.
Thank you. Hanae?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hanae Wyatt. I am the proud lifelong resident of the city of Plainfield and a proud commissioner and president of the Plainfield Board of Education, seeking re-election for another term. Over the past 2 years and 9 months, I've had the honor of serving as vice president and president, focused on bringing stability and progress to Plainfield Public Schools. Through effective collaboration and advocacy, I've maintained my commitment to ensuring that all decisions remain student-centered. I've initiated a president's tour during my term, allowing me to engage directly with students and staff, hear concerns firsthand, and witness how our policies and decisions impact our students and our staff in their learning environment. This has strengthened my resolve to continue making informed and impactful decisions. Additionally, I serve on the National Steering Committee for CUE, broadening my ability to advocate for all of our students. I'm excited to continue building on progress that we've all made for the benefit of our students and our community in its entirety. I appreciate you all attending this event this evening, and thank you for being here to listen to our platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we're going to start off with the first question. Pardon me? Oh. And the question is going to go to you, Robbie. What particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a board member?
Thank you so much for the question. My background in finance and accounting is one of the strongest assets I have to administer the budget and ensure that it is accountable and it is fiscally responsible. Also, I am a parent of a child with special needs who recently graduated from Plainfield Public School Systems, and that expertise will also allow me to support that population more fervently, if you will, to ensure that they all receive a free and appropriate education and that our IEPs are accurate and reflect the students' needs. Those are the things I feel are most qualify me for this role.
Okay, thank you. Hanae?
Thank you for the question. I believe that what most qualifies me for this role prior to my onset for this term that I'm currently serving is my passion and dedication to serving my community and my deep dedication to advocating for the youth in the forward movement of our community. I've been on the board for the past 2 years and 9 months, diligently working to ensure that we provide the best student outcomes for our students, our staff, and our community in its entirety. And I believe that through that work, we've proven that we're making decisions in the best interest of our students, and that keeping our decisions student focused keeps us moving our district forward and ensuring that we provide the best resources possible so that our students benefit greatly. So I think that that's what I don't think that is what drives me, but I believe that that's what my experience lies in. I can speak to you all day about my work experience or my past history with public service and serving my community, but it's deeply rooted in serving the city of Plainfield and the residents that live here.
Thank you. Victor?
Would you mind repeating the question?
Absolutely. What particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a board member?
Honestly, it's my commitment to service. I've been serving in the city of Plainfield in many capacities since I was a youth, even before high school, whether it's working with the mayor's task force, being ingrained in the community. Like I said, I work with the city of Plainfield at the recreation department, so they allow me to work specifically with youth, help guide some of the programming, help engage families, really hear what the needs of the community are. And working with the school district as well, I had an opportunity to meet a lot of the current faculty members and educators, so I know who's actually doing the work, who's working with the students on a daily basis. I understand their commitment, I understand their drive and passion. And quite honestly, it takes a lot of patience and a proactive approach and temperament in order to serve, because you can't be reactive in this environment. If you have to give an opportunity to allow things to play out, be patient, and I believe those are skills that I have, but to see things through as well.
Thank you. Dr. Harris?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. What particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a board member?
I believe it's been my life's work to serve, especially in the realm of education. Again, 20 years of education experience. I've been a coach in Plainfield, founded a nonprofit that advocates for urban communities and education and life quality since 2012. Currently an adjunct professor in the education department at NJCU. So I continue to build myself up as an asset, not for myself, but for those I serve in education. Everything that I've done in the last 25 years has been dedicated really towards the uplift and encouragement and building up of youth, and I hope to continue to do that if elected.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going on to the next question, and this is for you, Hanae. We're going to start off with you. How will you effectively communicate with the other board members who differ from your perspective?
So I am the current president of the Plainfield Board of Education, and I have a very collaborative approach to my leadership style. I try to ensure that I'm keeping my fellow commissioners informed through all decision-making throughout the district. I do meet with the superintendent weekly to ensure that I'm kept abreast and then try to translate that information via email or communicating with my fellow board members via a phone call or via text messaging. I sit in on as many committee meetings as I possibly can, even if I am not a main member of that particular committee. Just so that I can ensure that I am articulating the way that I understand the information that's being presented, and then talk through those points with my fellow commissioners to ensure that they understand, and that if our understanding differs, that we can come to a common ground with the understanding that we put the students first. So I'm very diligent in communicating with my fellow commissioners, and I'm going to continue to do that as a member of the Plainfield Board of Education once elected.
Thank you. Victor? Sure. How will you effectively communicate with the other board members who differ from your perspective?
Quite honestly, that happens quite frequently, and there are just conversations. You have a meeting in your mind, you pick up the phone, you have a discussion, you get points of view, and you hope that, if you can agree to disagree, that you will have an opportunity to move forward. A lot of times, things may not go the way we feel, based on our opinion, but we have to go with what's, best for the district, or what our advisors share with us, whether it's our legal counsel, or whether just what other commissioners who have more experience or more insight on the subject matter have. That's really just a constant dialogue, communication, and once you get feedback, sometimes your perspective changes. So if you're willing to be forthcoming with saying, hey, I know I said this at one point, but now my perspective has changed, I think I'm being willing to admit that and move forward.
Thank you. Dr. Harris?
Funny you asked that. The name of my nonprofit is Circle Learning Group, which stands for Collaborative Initiatives, Restore Community Life and Education. Collaboration is really the core of who I am and what I do. I believe, adage, we are better together, and lift as we climb. Everyone has a unique perspective, experience, and ideals, and instead of pointing fingers, I believe collaborating to come together and make a mighty fist to really make things, help things get done, using everyone's different experiences, perspectives, is an opportunity to grow and learn, to come together to make the best decisions for the children and for the board and Plainfield as a whole.
Thank you. Robbie?
I agree with my fellow candidates here that collaboration is key to solving issues. Because of my financial background, I also would look for data-driven decisions to help support any issues that we may have that are different. I do believe in respecting the opinions of others and using those opinions to form decisions. I believe that we should look toward making sure that we look at the equitable outcome for students first, and as we make these decisions where we have differences, and then we continue to talk with each other openly and honestly and have conversations that continue to be difficult, but we make decisions for the entire district based on these difficult decisions. I think having challenging discussions is very important, and how we serve our community is important when we make those decisions, but collaboration is certainly key, and listening with an open mind is also very important.
Thank you. Okay, question number 3. We're going to start with you, Victor. What are your thoughts on residents sitting on the Board of Education who are not allowed to evaluate the superintendent because they have relatives that work for the district?
So I believe the board should include a mix of residents who are capable of many skills and perspectives. Just because a resident has a family member that works for the district doesn't mean that they hold an extra advantage, nor should they be placed at a disadvantage, either real or perceived. People that intend to serve should be judged on their own merit and life experiences. Evaluating and serving the superintendent are two different things. People's approach to leveraging the district through the superintendent in the day-to-day interactions with the chief school administrator should be what's considered, not just who is employed and their relatives that choose to serve the board.
Thank you. Dr. Harris?
As one of the candidates see it as a good problem. The Board of Education, I believe, is the largest employer in the city, so for individuals who care about Plainfield, who are adamant about the work, it won't be uncommon for them to have a relative who works for the board. Being born and raised in generations of my family raised in Plainfield, I do have a long-term investment and commitment. And although in such incidences I am not able to make decisions, I do believe that what I could bring to the board and the conversations we do have and the experiences and knowledge I do share will impart on them to make better decisions in the instances where I cannot.
Thank you. Robbie?
Answer my question.
Sure. What are your thoughts on residents sitting on the Board of Education who are not allowed to evaluate the superintendent because they have relatives that work for the district?
I'm sorry, that is very concerning to me. I do think you should be partial, and those who are elected in a role, who have relatives that are in positions that could make it difficult for them to make a decision impartially, should step down from that role. I don't think that anyone should take a role where they could be put in a situation where they're impartial. And so, because of my ethical background in finance and accounting, I strongly believe that there should be a separation of individuals who take roles and who have other relatives in key roles within the city that could implement their decisions. So, while I understand there are relatives that work in different areas in Plainfield and there could be overlap, it's very important that the people who serve in these roles take the role very seriously and not take the role when they have other people in positions.
Yes, thank you for that question. I too am a current board member who has a family member within the district, so I am considered a conflicted board member. I have been since I've become on the board. I believe that doesn't make any board member any less effective in their decision-making process, and I'm going to agree with my running mate candidate, the other candidate, when they state that Plainfield Public Schools is the largest entity within the city of Plainfield. We employ a whole host of people, of which, if you're from here, you are going to encounter a relative within the district. It's just very uncommon, and it's almost impossible for you not to. But with the current climate and landscape of the board, we are considered a conflicted board, and at this present time, we have to invoke what's called the doctrine of necessity, which does in fact allow us to evaluate the superintendent. And again, I just want to reiterate, that doesn't make us any less effective, and there are no conflicts in that other than the fact that we're evaluating our only employee. And that's really all I have to say on that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now this next question, we're going to start with you, Dr. Harris. How do you plan to budget for additional expenses associated with educating students with disabilities and ensure they are not included in budget cuts?
So, if you may or may not be aware, it does cost more to educate a student with exceptional needs. I do believe that there are specific practices and policies that need to be implemented to serve our students with the most disadvantages. One being advocating for additional funds. Is a lot of research that suggests that educating in urban districts, especially with urban districts like Plainfield, where 12% of the students have special needs, that we are severely underfunded. But with the funds we do have, we have to be responsible. We have to be, it's a necessity to use and spend the money in areas where the programs, the policies are researched and there is evidence of success.
Thank you. Robbie? Can you repeat that question? Sure. How do you plan to budget for additional expenses associated with educating students with disabilities and ensure that they are not included in budget cuts?
what services they're providing and see how we can capitalize on the resources they're giving us. I also believe in synergies and looking at other surrounding districts to see how we can synergize resources in order to support this population. I know that it costs a lot of money for these students, and so we need to look at the data to see how the services we are utilizing and supporting them. So before I say increase the budget, I would want to look and see what services that they're providing right now to see how we're measuring those services and what the return on investment on those services. Again, because I look at data a lot, I have to see how the data of the services they're providing is supporting the students. I would not budget cut in this area because I think it's a critical area that we need to invest in as a district.
Thank you. Hanae?
Thank you. I think there is always going to be a need for additional funding when it comes to special needs or any other area of need within our public school district. I want to assure you that with the current budget in place, that Plainfield Public Schools are deeply committed to ensuring that we are utilizing the budget effectively to provide those resources that are needed and required for any particular group of students. And in servicing those students, we not only provide those resources and needs in district, but we do outsource to out-of-district partners to provide what our students need. And it is properly budgeted for, and I think that if we make smart decisions, keeping the students our center focus, that we will be able to move the district forward in a way where now we can provide those opportunities in-house and cut the costs that we're using to outsource for these services. And I think we're moving in the right direction, so I think when thinking about budget cuts, that's not the way that we're going, that's not how we're moving our district forward. Thank you.
Victor?
Please repeat.
Sure. How do you plan to budget for additional expenses associated with educating students with disabilities and ensure they are not included in budget cuts?
Yeah, I have to echo what Mrs. Wyatt has stated. We do a good job evaluating the needs of the district as a whole, and if there are areas that require more attention, we review the budget early in the year before it's approved, and we make our recommendations, we ask questions. But quite honestly, prior to the budget being developed, we have conversations with the superintendent to make sure that if there are areas specifically with your students with special needs and the attention, we ask how we're currently supporting them. And if it, like Hanae said, if it means that we can reverse the trend and try to serve the students in district, right? We want to do that. This year, it was announced by Governor Murphy that schools are fully funded. So we anticipate having that money there and not anticipating any shortfalls. And for the last 2 years, we got A+ rating from our auditors regarding how we manage our budget. So we just want to continue to focus on those needs and make sure that the students are top priority.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
15 seconds.
15, okay. All right. Thank you. So I just want to reiterate that the district really should look at data for the services that they provide for this population to ensure that the budget that they're approving represents and the population, the special education population.
Yes.
Just to provide a little
15 seconds.
Yes, just to provide a little clarification, not necessarily a rebuttal, but as Board of Education Commissioners, we do receive regular updates from our administration regarding the data that goes into the decision-making process when it comes to servicing all of our students, inclusive of our special needs students, which is about 16% of our population.
Okay.
You can't rebut anymore. No. Okay.
Okay. We're going on to the next question, and Robbie, this is for you to start. What is your position on strengthening an internship program for students that are interested in trades as well as corporations? Corporations.
Okay, thank you so much. I think vocational programs are a great addition to the whole child, if you will. You know, we're preparing our students for post-secondary college education, but
but also we should prepare them for the vocational asset as well. So I do believe that, the internships with vocational programs, internships at corporations are key to making sure our children are successful. Our children are in need of social and emotional well-being and maturity, if you will, and having them in these settings, I think, will help them mature and have strengthen their social assets, if you will. But I think vocational programs are a really good asset in terms of internship that the students should that we should take advantage of. And I also think working in a corporation is a great asset as well.
Thank you. Hanae?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I was not trying to for a second.
No,
Currently, the district, we have a lot of strategic partnerships with different organizations, companies, and corporations for, to benefit our students. We are working on our CTE programs for our students, in this school year currently and the school years coming up, where they will be able to engage in trades and programs that are more interesting to them, that they would like to see themselves in post-graduation. Also, there's always room to bring more partnerships, so we're always looking to increase our partnerships with corporations and organizations so that we can ensure that our students are getting that access to these different various fields in the workforce. But I believe that with the programs that we currently have, we're doing a great job, we're moving in the right direction, and as long as we continue to listen to the students intentionally about what they want, then we'll continue to make informed decisions and move our district forward based off the needs of our students.
Okay, thank you. Victor?
Yeah. So I believe that just, listening to the students, understanding what the trends are for future career paths, and then seeking out those partnerships if we don't already have them strategically throughout the district to offer students opportunities to become interns or even apprenticeship opportunities, either with the trades, in corporations, or in the technical field. I think just having them exposed to different areas while in school, they used to have programs like work study, they have internship programs where you can go to college while you're in high school and earn credits, but really just getting that practical experience, whether it's shadowing a teacher, in the summertime to learn the teaching field, or going to learn welding, plumbing. A lot of times people get these experiences from family members, but if we can integrate it where we see our strategic partners in the district and make that marriage happen, I think students will get some great value and find some focus for their future.
Okay, Dr. Harris?
When I was in high school, I didn't have the elective, but I actually had community service where I shadowed different administrators and teachers. I think that's large in part to why I'm an educator today. There has been a shift in the work culture where skill-based learning is starting to replace college degrees. So I do think it is essential that we look into programs where we're bringing in community partners, business partners, so our students are getting access to apprenticeships and internships and vocational skills at an early age. What I currently do as a learning consultant is work with students as early as the middle school age to begin that process, where we're vetting the different vocational schools, seeing what opportunities align with their interests and their abilities, especially with those students with exceptional needs, where college may not be the best fitting option for all of our students in general. So again, looking for community partnerships. That's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Hanae, what is your definition of inclusion? And what is your view of how it aligns with the role of a board member?
Inclusion aligns greatly with the role of a board member. It is our duty to the entire body of students and staff and administrators within the district as a whole to advocate for their needs for the benefit of the district in its entirety. So my definition of inclusion would be simple, and that's to ensure that we're including everyone in our decision-making process. We speak a lot about the youth. I particularly speak a lot about the youth, listening to the youth intentionally, ensuring that our decisions are student-centered. But when you think about it, if we ensure that our decisions are student-centered and provide adequate resources to our staff as well, and ensure that our administrators are supportive, and if we work collaboratively to ensure that we're moving in the right directions and doing what's best for our students, and everybody benefits, but more importantly, yes, our students benefit. So I believe that inclusivity should be at the forefront of what a board member's role is.
Thank you. Victor?
Inclusion to me is very important. Working in the human services field, I have a perspective that really brings me to equality, making sure that people get the supports and services that they need wherever they are, and making sure that you even the playing field, whether it be just giving people the resources, the students the resources, making sure that the educators are able to evaluate them, listen to the families, listen to the needs of the families, whether it be, if we can support them in the district or really just get them to an even playing field in their life. It's more about if people feel comfortable, making them feel wanted in any space. We just have to be in education, but it's really just about making people feel that they belong and treating people how you want to be treated, and giving people support to be able to respect that they're with the shoes on their foot.
Thank you. Dr. Harris?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. What is your definition of inclusion, and what is your view of how it aligns with the role of a board member?
So, coming from a special education background, when I hear the word inclusion, I think of an inclusion teacher. And although that means for me to work with every stakeholder for a holistic and whole child approach to educating students, I also believe as a board member, it means working with all the educational stakeholders in the community, from the citizens, the families, including the students. Again, I spoke earlier about everyone having a valuable perspective, down from our children to our adults, coming together to make equitable decisions that benefit the children is the best way I can say my definition of inclusion is.
Thank you. Robbie?
Inclusion to me is including, and inclusion to me is listening to the students, having parent engagement and staff support. Inclusion is having a collaborative approach with these three bodies to help make sure you build a whole child. Testing.
Yes.
Sorry. Inclusion to me means incorporating the students, listening to the students, hearing their concerns, building in parent engagement, and building staff support. I do believe that inclusion, when we have these three bodies together, we can build what Dr. Harris said is the whole child. The whole child approach needs to have these three bodies incorporated in it to help build this child help to build the child and ensure that the student is getting a free and appropriate education.
Okay. All right, and this is the last question, and it's going to go to you, Victor, first. As a board member, how do you plan to strengthen the curriculum with programs for high-achieving students, such as the dual degree program with regional colleges? The first part? Yep. As a board member, how do you plan to strengthen the curriculum with programs for high-achieving students, such as the dual degree program with regional colleges?
I think we strengthen the program by talking to Instruction Curriculum Committee, working with the faculty that are going to present the curriculum to the students and challenge them, quite honestly, present as many, and also what I would, we talk about me personally, we don't get involved in day-to-day. So what I would do is continue to do the research and talk, and when we attend conferences, we learn about best practices that other districts are doing, whether it's in the state or nationally, and we bring that information back to the district, and we try either what we're doing that works, or we try new innovative ways to present challenges to the students. A lot of times the students challenge themselves in different ways to really to just expand their knowledge and to get as much support for their career field as possible. And we kind of isolate those students who really need the maximum support and encouragement. And that's what I would do. I would make sure that the faculty is doing that, giving them the resources and put whatever support behind them in the budget, as well as making sure that they get the opportunities that they want.
Okay, Doctor.
When I graduated from Plainfield High School in 2002, I was enrolled in both or all of the AP courses offered at the high school, just 2 of them. That number has since changed, but I do feel that we have to continue to support those efforts and encourage our higher achievers. Right now, we need to push forward closer to the state average of offering 34% of classes for AP students, as well as looking for specific programs and initiatives such as partnering with local colleges for dual enrollment programs, and with the trend of online learning, looking towards distant learning programs where our high achievers can get access to the education or the programs or the content that they deserve and they want.
Okay. Robbie?
This is one of my favorite topics because I worked at Rutgers and they had a great role. I would work with this. Hello? Teamwork. Sorry about that. So, I would work with the local state schools to build partnerships with our staff and students. I know Rutgers University has a great program for dual enrollment. I was a part of that process when I worked there. I would work with the staff and students at the Plainfield Public School to ensure that we maximize the support for our high achievers, and that could include preparing them for post-secondary schools, not just academically, but socially and emotionally, and helping them with mental awareness, because as we all know, going from high school to college it's a lot, and so we need to prepare our students not just academically for the post-secondary, but emotionally and mentally as well. That is what I would do for supporting the post.
Okay.
So, at Plainfield Public Schools, we currently have dual enrollment programs, and as a parent of a student actually participating in one of those programs with Kane University, I have firsthand experience with the program. And what I would say is, it is an awesome program, but in order to improve the program or expand upon a program, we would just simply need to increase our enrollment and engagement in a program with our students and ensure that they know that they have access to such a program, because it is a great benefit to our students. Our first couple cohorts of students who went through the program are benefiting greatly by having graduated early and graduated with college credits, upwards of having what we would consider an associate's degree when they graduate. But just also to improve the program, we need to strengthen our communication with the university. I know firsthand as a parent that there are a few challenges that we're trying to rectify at the moment, but in strengthening that communication, we can then strengthen our marketing and advocacy for our students for the program. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for answering those questions. And I'm sure the audience really appreciates seeing your views on these things. And it's great. So now it's time for your closing statements. And we're going to start with Dr. Harris.
Again, thank you all for coming out tonight. I don't believe can you all hear me?
The library will be closing in 45 minutes. Doors of the library closing in 30 minutes. Also, the computers and printers will shut down in 30 minutes.
Again, thank you all for coming out tonight. And while I don't believe a minute is enough to really get to know each candidate, our platforms, our experiences, and what we could bring to the board, I do hope that what I was able to share with you tonight gave you some insight into my abilities and what I hope to bring to the board and improve on the things that are already happening. I invite you to visit www.h4boe.com
Okay. Hanae?
Yes, thank you all for coming this evening. As we look to the future, I'm proud of the accomplishments that we've been able to achieve thus far together as a district since I've been able to serve on the board. Through national presentations and sharing our success at conferences across the country, we've shown that Plainfield is actually on a rise and in fact moving forward in the best direction that we possibly can. My re-election will ensure that we continue on to this path of growth, guided by strong administration and collaborative efforts that prioritize the student's success and the overall district success. I've been honored to be able to lead, to be able to listen and advocate on behalf of our students and staff, and I look forward to continuing that work to build a brighter future for our district. So I appreciate you all being here, listening to our platforms and what we have to present with regard to answering these questions, and I hope that we've been able to do that for you in a way that helps you in your decision making when it's time for you to vote for who you see as the best candidates for our for November 5th for the general election as you vote for your next Plainfield Education candidates. Thank you.
Thank you. Robbie?
Thank you to the League of Women Voters, the library staff, Tapping to Plainfield, for your dedication to making this event possible. I want to thank the voters for being here today and engaging in a very important conversation. Your vote matters, especially in this general election. Please to vote. As we conclude, I want to emphasize that I'm committed to being transparent and accessible representative of your community. I'm committed to being accountable to the budget. More time. You gotta give me my time back now. All right. As we conclude, if you're voting by mail or if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I think together we can tackle the issues facing our schools. We should form parent engagement. Thank you, and decrease our class sizes and ensure transparency in decision making. Again, my name is Robbie Campbell-Lissade. I'm working in column 1 for the school board commissioner, and I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you. Victor?
Yes, so once again, I'm honored to be invited to speak here tonight. Thank you for those in attendance and watching online. I ask that you support our team of candidates as we bring a different skill set, a collective mindset to leading the school board. We strive to put Plainfield first, leading the students, the families, and educators, as well as the community. With these values thus far, I believe we have been able to establish a strong foundation for the district to continue to move Plainfield Public Schools forward. Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much. And could we give them a nice round of applause?
Thank you.
Candidates, thank you. Conducting forums like this one is one of the ways that we encourage informed and active participation in government. Your participation tonight helps us carry out our mission. For those that were unable to attend our forum in person tonight, encourage your Plainfield friends and family to watch a recording of this forum on our League of Women Voters Plainfield YouTube channel, League of Women Voters Plainfield. The League of Women Voters welcomes men and women. If you are interested in this local organization, comment on our Facebook page or send an email to lwvnjplainfield@gmail.com. Regarding voting for this general election, registered voters can apply for vote by mail ballot by following instructions found on vote.nj.gov or UVCountyVotes.com. Additional voting information can also be found on vote411.org. In-person early voting is an option that enables all voters, registered voters, to cast their ballots in person using a voting machine from October 26th to November 3rd. In-person early voting hours are 10 a.m. to 8 a.m. on weekdays and Saturdays, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays at 7 locations in Union County. You can also vote at your polling place on Election Day, November 5th, from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. There are plenty of options available to ensure your vote is counted. Thank you for joining us, and good night.